Okay, so for roughly 2 months, Teamsters Local 320 was out on strike, and was it shortly thereafter that all of us correctional officers were declared essential employees?
Yeah, that was the last strike that the state or the county was going to put up with. It was actually, as I recall, Hennepin County that petitioned to have corrections essential, and then they went statewide on it. So that was the end of that. They weren't going to have their frontline army have that ability anymore. So,
All right.
if I'm going to be totally honest, with all the years I have been as a business agent and all the years I've watched this business, for the most part, we are probably better off with the right to arbitrate, because then our people don't lose money when we have these issues. And in reality, the arbitration over the years, while we certainly don't win everything, I'd have to say that we've had enough gains that we probably are further ahead with it than we would be with strikes. If you count what we really lost financially in that strike, I don't know if we ever made it up, to be honest. You know, the offer that we settled with wasn't that much better. And then remember that this was early 80s. We were also going into the time of double-digit inflation. And I bought my first car the year after the strike, for instance, and it was 14% interest, and that was with good credit.
Right.
Couldn't even buy a house at the time and stuff. So to say that we gained on that one is pretty tough to say, because again, the economy itself took such a dive from there on in. There were a couple of years, I don't know if you were there yet or not, but we got like 9% COLAs 2 years in a row.
Right.
And you know, there are some folks that are around that will remember that and go, why can't you get that now? Well, but we lost 5 to 6% on the deal. Inflation was running 14, 15%. It was out of control.
Right, because what I was reading in the papers too from that time, the county was offering a 9 and 6% COLA, the union wanted an 11% COLA, and it looks like you guys ended up settling on 9.5 and a 9.5, which was still better than what the county was offering.
Oh,
and then you gained some respect, you got a little signing bonus, and hopefully not too many if you got frostbite.
Yeah, good. Yeah, it was very cold. That's the only other thing I would say. Some of the contracts I work with, like I've the Metropolitan Airport Commission, which is all the maintenance people inside and out at the main and on the outline, their contract comes due July 1st. The school districts are that way, and there's a few others out there. So they're kind of poised for a better time of year, you know, in reality. But
Right, not in Minnesota.
yeah, it's a very
Not
tough.
here.
If anything else, had I to do that over again, and had I been actually on the committee, I would have pushed hard to have us drag that out into like April before we actually went on strike.
Right.
Would have made a lot more sense for us, and it probably would have been easier to do some other work for people to make money on the side too, you know, and stay out there. But also, I guess as a leadership, had we done that, people could have taken that time to prepare a little more and be a little more financially ready too. So the thing really happened awfully fast. We really weren't thinking strike. In fact, this is interesting. Jack Mogelson had reported to the commissioners and to the county administrator the day that we were voting that it was going to go through. The offer was going to be accepted. It was not accepted by 95%.
So it surprised the negotiating team. So they'd accepted a tentative offer, and then the membership rejected it.
To say that the negotiating team really had a tentative would be going a bit far. They weren't that happy.
Okay.
But with the hard economic times that were looming, the union officers were pressing to say, well, economically, we're going to be awfully hard pressed to do better than this or make it up. So I don't think they understood just how angry we were. And so again, they were actually reporting ahead that we were going to settle. And it was 95%, absolutely not, we're going on strike. So at that point, then, of course, they kicked in and said, well, we are the Teamsters, the membership has spoken, let's give them a strike. And certainly they did dive in at that point, and a lot of support. Actually, there was support coming from places, and other locals were supporting us and bringing supplies in and helping us. It was pretty incredible, and even from other states. People were driving up all day long when you'd be on picket lines, especially downtown in Minneapolis. Vehicles would be pulling up, people you never met, and opening trunks and handing you over food and liquids and everything else, you know, was incredible. And even cash people would give you and stuff. And
Nice.
lots
Nice.
of support. So, and they certainly got a lot of media involvement through the thing. So, some though was certainly better than others, like Randy first, because Randy is actually a friend of labor.
Right.
And so Randy, you know, you didn't even need to go after him. He certainly came in and made sure he stayed on top of us, and was certainly always seemed to be in our corner.
Yeah, there was reports that a lot of the media wouldn't even cross the picket lines, and I know the one of the articles in the paper said that when you guys actually did go into the county board meeting, that you guys opened up the lines for 3 hours so the reporters
Right.
could cross.
Correct. Yeah.
So
There was a lot more union involvement in the media then. It's a lot more difficult now. They have a lot less employees that are organized working for large media now. Not to rip them up, it's not what the interview is about, but in reality it is extremely difficult. The media doesn't really care for unions any more than any other large corporations. So,
and they are a corporation.
yeah, and they don't want their people organized, and so they don't want to recognize us. You really got to be doing stuff to get them to even recognize you out there as a union. So we've been snubbed way more than we've ever had our stories told.
All right. Well, thanks for the time, Mike. Is there anything else you'd like to add before?
Well, you know
Wrap it
me, I
up.
could talk forever, but that's not what it's about. So I just thank you for the time. I appreciate you doing this. I love your site. I think it's really cool that you guys are doing this. And you've got your wife helping out, which is probably for the best. So it's getting done right. So
That's right. Somebody knows how to
it's
work a
very
camera.
cool.
Well, thank you very much. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
it, and I've always had great respect for you ever since we came on board back in the late '90s. You were our first business agent down at the Hennepin County Jail, and we've always had a lot of respect for you. We always will.
Thank you.
And I wanted to do this because a lot of our younger members never even knew that 320 went on strike against Hennepin County, and it's a little piece of history I think that deserves to be preserved.
Thank you. And same thing with the respect for you. I've said many times, if I could have 50 stewards of your caliber, or even just members, we'd own Minnesota. If people would get up and let the way you will, Wade, and stand there and toe that line and consistently do it month after month, year after year, it'd be a different place for all of us. We've got to get our members, I guess that would be my capper, we've got to get our members much more active. Corrections, especially, there are so many correctional officers, and we are so core to essential services for each county and for the state itself. If we would pull together more and show up for more things and support each other more, we would be in much better shape, because we are a political force to be reckoned with when we move together.
You're absolutely right.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.